So, second video for today. It's about war, actually. Really bad topic. Like, war in its essence. If you need to go to war, right? You need to fight a war. You need to be in the battle to fight for your rights, right? Then it becomes, in a sense, I guess, pleasurable because you have to cope with it and it's your conscience arising, right? And you need to control yourself so you don't get too vicious or whatever. Tremendous and not evil. And this is about the video. It's looking like something really weird. It's not the case. I'm talking about war in general, like as a colliding construct of collective ideas. That's why it's called expiary, right? It's the same word. Solution. And Sire Siren is put above or below or never. No. I mean, Sire Siren is there for the reason that don't believe everything I say immediately. Like, even if it's true, even if I hold true values and I do tell true, don't believe it. It's wrong. In any case. So, what is the definition that is war? And war in definition defined. War is the rising conflict by force of will. I think everyone can agree on that. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a war between people or something, or between animals or different people, different entities, different beings, different ideas. War is that which is someone forces the will of themselves onto you or your collective or your conscious collective ideas. That is war. There's always war. Question is, when is war permissible? When is it bad? When is it out of the question? I do think that an idea war, like a war of paradigms, a war of ideas, can be considered as something that is true evil. It's more like you can't really tell someone not to put their ideas into some form to present it to other ideas and beings and spirits. But of course you can silence someone. If the idea is really dangerous, you can silence that person to a degree. You can't just forbid the person, but you can forbid certain ideas. But there needs to be reason, right? It needs to have a reason that these ideas are forbidden. And that is the question always. When is something forbidden? When is censoring? When is censorship? And when is advertisement? And when is reasoning being by polluted thoughts good and when not? And that sounds like it's never good, but when you got thoughts get polluted by ideas, it's good. That's my definition, at least. So now to the three types of war in my mind. External war is the forces that threaten the line of being. So, for example, if aliens come to Earth and they don't just want to visit, which in any case is always wrong because it's the planet of humanity, except we're talking about this universe, because I do think different of this universe, doesn't mean that the planet doesn't and is entitled in a way to the beings that live there. Doesn't mean no one can live here from outside, but it's a really difficult topic. I think aliens and humanity and Earth and so forth and animals and so forth. The problem is that external war forces something onto a conscious, like the will in a material plane where you actually guide your conscious. So this is always managed by the consequential call for more power over power, in the sense that it's the will to be enforced onto the will of someone else. Which means It's always a conflict threat managed by two different types of being. And that's why it's so difficult to explain why aliens, in my mind, could have some degree of ground to live on Earth, but not more than humanity, not even close to what humanity owns or the animals. That's like the whole point of that. Like, yes, aliens should be allowed to live on Earth in some case, if we discuss this, but they shouldn't have more ground. And this is not translatable to different ethics or ethnics in humanity or in animals, because it's where they were born. It's the place they were born, animals as well as humanity. So they're certainly entitled to living in the solar system, which is weird because the solar system is entitled to live on Earth. Doesn't mean they're not entitled to get to the solar system, in my mind, animals or humans. But the problem is, how real is the solar system and the cosmos, in a sense. The drum was ringing, right? It's not wrong, it was ringing. Bell can run. They're not ringed. So the next point is internal war. Next discussed idea of conflict, which means that it is enforcement that threaten a being in the line of evolution. This can be manipulated by external war, or it can be just internal war, like in between people that come from the same line. This is where it gets tricky. It can be even caused by karma. So you can have total good intentions, and someone can use that to utilize it in a way that you have war, even in between good. For that is that your spirit has a certain view on the world, which I believe, which you can view in the material body. Later to that on slide 3 or 2, more likely 3. And the last discussion is the spirit call of shipment, which is also a kind of conflict, fight, battle, or war. In my mind, it's conscious raging against itself, which is utilized in internal war if you want to manipulate it. So this is like, your conscious is, as previously explained, an imbalance, naturally, because you can't be something without not being what you are to a certain degree. Like, if I am a sportive person, or someone who likes language, or anything, you have to make certain values and assign certain values to certain aspects of the characteristics that come with the whole sum of potential that you have in the knowledge that is presented by the thoughts you get from the ideas that you manage to embody your spirit with. So these are the 3 definitions of war. So what is the solution to war? That's the point. Don't talk about a solution like the Nazis or whatever, like racists. I talk about which solutions are which solutions are actually possible. Like, what is possible? Not what is good, what is evil, what is bad. What is possible? Well, first, don't do it. War is not good. If you see a reason for it, yeah, might be good. Depends. If you are in need of a reason to have war, you're evil. And if you see war rising, you should do something if you can do something. Like, you shouldn't go into battle and slaughter yourself for someone else. But if you win a battle with some advanced technology, why not? It's for you easy. For the people who suffer, not. But don't do it in general. war is bad. It's tremendous, tumultuous, vicious evil. So it's true. Never mind. So there are solutions towards a win, right? You win a war, war's over, you won, go home, or whatever. You can do whatever you wish like because war is won. It's the reason you fought a war if you're the first one who strikes or attacks. It's very weird. So win. Peace and time. You have a conflict arising. No one gets really harmed, or the casualties, which I won't call that way usually, but in the sense of war times you need to call it that way, are fathomable in the sense that you can live with the casualties without using forgiveness that would degrade your conscience into something that would not be you anymore, like you put a knife in my stomach and I can't walk anymore because I have the problem now that, for example, my guts are really spilling out at every step. You have a real problem. Like if you didn't attack me, if you didn't do anything evil, and I did it to you, I have a problem. So if you or I, hypothetically you, existing I, have these problems, we can't find peace and time. But we could have found peace and time if anyone would have given in on their values, which the one who's stronger will not do, but the one who's good will also not do. Possibility here, evil can lose, but won't give in. So, if someone is evil and fights a war, he fights like Hitler, till the end. Doesn't matter to them. They do everything to achieve their goal then. A good person just suicides himself, or herself, or itself, so suicide is the third option. Can get too much of war, can get to your head and you don't want it anymore, you feel that it's not worth it, that life itself is not worth it anymore, because of all the guilt that the people put on you. For that is that you need to murder and kill. And if you view life as worth living because it's a good thing, and more than that, good deserves good, as well as evil deserves good, as long as it holds to rules, you suddenly have the problem that suicide might be considered worthy. Like, it's not worth it anymore to you then, because you are tired of fighting, and you can't stand it anymore. You could also suicide yourself if you lost. It's also a possibility. Your view, your perspective tell you that you lost, so you commit suicide like Hitler. And losing reason is the fourth one. So it's a solution that is either way possible. You can lose your reason and go totally haywire and just destroy everything and see the war's over myself, right? War's over, I'm alive. Possible. Possibility free. You lose your reason, you almost get enslaved, you commit suicide, win, or have peace and time because the other person gives in. Okay, possible. Third solution. Other person manipulates you into it, loses their reason, doesn't get it. Fourth possibility. Someone manipulates you, you lose your reason, you suicide yourself. Fifth reason. And fifth possibility. You lose reason about reason and you just sit there and do peaceful resistance. Till it's not possible anymore, then you go haywire. Or choose any of the previous options. So this is basically the solution to war, which means we have the expiary solution. If given that war arises, two outcomes from it come forth. Ideas conflict each other to form a shift in battleground, meaning that the ideas that you have that are not aligned with each other or are in contrast to each other shift into a new set of ideas, therefore change the battleground. Expiry consequences of battalions, core an idea, dissolution, vanish, meaning vanish of potential. Meaning the consequences expire in a sense that they hold value of new karmic ideas that use one. When you have battalions, suddenly they form a core, you have them dying or rising, and you have an idea that is like nothing, but nothing that's expanding and vanishes the potential, either of war, of conscious, raging against itself, or of the opposite, the enemy.